Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 362 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Spears, and God, wasn't that awful? Wasn't that just the worst fight that you've ever seen in your life? Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was horrible. Such a bad fight. A terrible, awful fight. However, how fun was it? How fun was the entire thing? People are getting very upset with the idea that these events that we're watching aren't as good as watching actual fights when looking at it through a fight lens. You're not watching a fight, it's a spectacle. That's what we're watching. Did you really think that a 58-year-old man versus a 27-year-old guy would be a good fight? Absolutely not. Of course it was going to suck. Of course it was going to be boring. What did you want to see? Jake Paul hit Mike Tyson so hard that he has an aneurysm and dies because he's 58 years old?
Yes.
That would be pretty good.
That's what I was hoping for.
That would be pretty good.
Or the other way around.
The guy was just getting hit in the head, moving slow and chewing on his own gloves. That's all that was going on. Round one was good. I watched round one and it was good. And then Mike Tyson's body remembered that it was 58 years old and was like, okay, that's enough moving quickly. I think we'll just do our best not to get a concussion for the rest of the fight. And Jake Paul was just terrified of that one punch. So he just used his reach and threw jabs at Mike Tyson and won on points. But like, what else did you expect? What did you think was going to happen? All these people that are very upset and disappointed with the fight. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think it was going to be the most riveting fight Mike Tyson's ever had? Mike Tyson's fight started getting boring before he retired. That's why he retired, because he's like, I don't have it in me anymore. His own words. What you're watching is the digital equivalent. It's a modern day freak show. What would happen if an old famous boxer fought a young fit guy who kind of can box? You know what does upset me about this? This is the one thing that does upset me about all of this. Is that Jake Paul got $40 million, right? That doesn't upset me. He can get his $40 million. What upsets me is that Mike Tyson only got 20. I'm sorry. Flip that around. Mike Tyson should get the 40. He is Mike Tyson. Why is Jake Paul getting paid double the face tag guy who bites ears off? That's who I want to see get the big payday. I want Mike Tyson to get the $40 million so he never does anything like this ever again. You know, this fight that he did probably shortened his lifespan by at least 6 years. You can't be getting punched in the head by a 28-year-old for fucking 20 minutes when you're 58. That's gonna take a few memories away. That takes a few years off the lifespan. That adds in a couple extra years of dementia. CTE abounds. You know what else is funny? All these other people going, oh, the fight was rigged. Really, bro? The fight was rigged? I look at that fight and I see exactly what was always going to happen. An old guy getting punched in the head and a young guy dancing around him because the old guy's slow. People watching there going, oh, yeah, it's rigged. No, it's not rigged. You just lost $100 on the fight because you're an idiot. That's what happened. Like, you're dumb and you put $100 down on a sports bet and now you're upset at Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Do you know how unbelievably illegal it would be for them to rig that fight? The biggest fight of the year, they're not rigging that shit. How's me saying that when, like, the biggest fights in all of boxing for a really long time were rigged? Like, that's exactly what they used to do. Why would they rig the biggest fight in the world? Well, because they'd make the most money. Of course, they would rig that stuff. But I don't know. I don't see it being very believable that the fight was rigged. I do know that it was just entertainment. Like, it's not a real fight. If you want good boxing fights, tune in to the boxing fights. The women's fight before was amazing. Women's fights are almost always better. In pretty much every sport, UFC, boxing. Like in her prime, Ronda Rousey was more exciting to watch than Conor McGregor in his. That's going to annoy a lot of people, but unfortunately it is true. The women's fighting is so much better, and I've thought about it a lot. I think it's because they're nowhere near as strong as the men, so they just don't knock each other out. So the fight just goes on forever. That's why like the super lightweight men's fights are exciting, because they're both like two anorexic guys punching each other with their bones instead of their muscles. That's why that's fun. You know, you see the heavyweight fights and you think, oh, this is going to be a good fight. And then like, 3 punches in, one of the guys is retarded. because the guy punching him in the head is 300 kilos. And then and you think you're about to watch the most exciting fight ever, but it's just like 2 obese guys with CTE stumbling around after 2 punches to the head. What you really want is to watch the women's lightweight, because they almost always go the full round. And it's exciting. That's fun. But yeah, watching 2-minute rounds of Mike Tyson stumbling and moving slow, that's what that was always going to be. You know how I watched the fight? And this is, I think I'm one of the only people who tuned in at fight time and didn't regret it. Do you know how I watched it? I watched it. I was at an influencer event for F-Boy Island. And I watched it on someone else's mobile phone, lent up against a metal water jug on a rooftop. Couldn't hear anything. The sun was glaring, could barely see anything. And we were all talking shit about how boring it was. That was the best way to watch that awful fight. Everyone else who got upset, because apparently it was buffering.
Wasn't buffering for me.
It was fine for me, but so many people, even Netflix themselves said, oh, it had our streaming system on the ropes.
I reckon it might have just been for America, because
I
don't think it was a problem here.
Yeah, maybe our servers were fine, but America's couldn't handle the amount of people watching. 65 million people watched it. It's the biggest boxing event of all time. If you're upset at YouTuber boxing, your fault. It's our fault. I've never watched a boxing match in my life. Do you know the only times I've ever in my entire life watched boxing? I can tell you every single one of them. The first one was Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, yep.
That's not a real boxing match. That's a spectacle, all right? Oh, the MMA guy. And I was like, oh, as if Conor lost. Of course he was going to lose. He's fighting fucking Floyd Mayweather. The next boxing event I watched, I can't even remember, but it was definitely a YouTuber one.
Logan Paul KSI?
It was, I think, no, I didn't watch that. But
Or Joella KSI?
No, definitely didn't watch that. Maybe I did watch Logan Paul KSI, and I was very disappointed that Logan Paul lost, because I thought he was going to win. But then one of my other friends reminded me that KSI is black. And I was like, oh, of course. If 2 YouTubers are going to box, you bet on the black guy. He wins. If 2 YouTubers are going to do any type of athletics other than swimming, you put the house on the black guy. He will win. And then I watched some of the Jake Paul fights, but illegally. The only ones what I'm saying is the only ones that I haven't like pirated or watched bootleg clips of it on Twitter, currently known as X, is I watched Conor McGregor, but I went to a cinema for that. That was awesome. We bought tickets to a movie cinema. It was packed. That was an event. That was awesome. And then I streamed the Mike Tyson fight on someone else's phone, so technically legal. But I'm not tuning into boxing at any other point. Like, this is how I prefer my boxing is, fuck, this is stupid. I've paid for UFC fights legally. I like watching UFC fights. They put on a great production. The problem with boxing is there's no company that does it. It seems all up in the air, and I don't know who works for who, and there's all these different promotion companies. UFC is UFC. And I watch the UFC. Boxing is so many different companies and fighters and this and that I don't understand it. What we really need is for boxing to get monopolized and taken over by an evil capitalist like the UFC was, and then it'll be good.
I watched it on a phone while I was driving. I wasn't even going to watch it.
That's not good.
Because you and I were talking about watching it,
yeah,
and then you couldn't, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it then. And then my friend Rafi,
yeah,
he was like, oh, what are you doing? Want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's get Netflix and watch it. Then we were going to the Bad Friends live show. It took so long to get to the fight that we were in the car halfway there before the fight even started. So I said, let's just watch it on your phone. We put it in my little car.
That's another thing.
holder.
For fucking after every fight, they were just talking about bullshit. Next fight, please. I'm not here to see fuckwit talk about who he thinks is going to win. I want to see Mike Tyson lose some teeth. Although seeing his ass was good.
Made the drive really, really quick though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I couldn't really watch the fight, but it was boring what I could see.
Yeah. The first 60 seconds of round one was electric. And then it was just like, I don't know if have you ever watched those like a current affair stories where like a family secretly puts up a camera in their grandma's retirement home and they catch the young guy who hates his job beating the shit out of grandma? That's what it was. It was just elder abuse on film. It was not good. And that's why Mike should have got the 40 mil and Jake should have got the 20.
Also, Netflix is $19 a month now.
Really expensive.
I paid for it because we were going to watch it on the TV.
And so worth it. Give me a special. They're never giving me a special. $19 a month is crazy.
Yeah. And there's nothing good on it.
Streaming services have really fallen off. And I think it's just because like just the ultimate resurgence of YouTube and everything, where if somebody wants to do something cool and live, why would you do it anywhere else? It is really interesting to see Netflix getting into live events. And I guess that's the only way that Netflix can grow. I wonder if they're going to test out pay-per-views. That'll be... Because if you think about Netflix, right? They're not a new company anymore. They've kind of matured into the space. They were the first movers. The entire industry has kind of like... can't get much bigger. In fact, it can only fragment as more streaming services pop up and people start canceling one to pick up another. That's already happened. It's turning into fucking cable, right? I guess the only way to... If I'm Netflix, how do I bring more money in? Pay-per-view. Or... I guess you enter like music streaming and you add a package of like Netflix and music maybe, or Netflix and games. They kind of tested out games a little bit, but Microsoft isn't going to give up their library of games, and neither is PlayStation, Sony. So Netflix can't enter there. So the only way you could make more money if you're Netflix is starting a streaming service for music, competing with Spotify, or doing pay-per-views. Because this fight that just happened could just be Netflix testing out, is this a viable path for our business? And can we even do it? Like, do we have the technology and the gear and the talent to pull it off? And the answer is almost yes. But also you can't really fault them for having streaming issues in the biggest event of history, I guess. Maybe you can. I don't know anything about that space. But it will be interesting to see what Netflix does with live streams. I wonder if you'll see more comedians doing live specials, because that's where they really tested it. I'm pretty sure the first ever live event was stand-up comedians. Was it Chris Rock?
Let me check.
I feel like it was Chris Rock's special after he got slapped by Will Smith was the first live streamed event on Netflix, I think. And they've since done another one with another comedian.
Cat Williams?
Yes, Cat Williams was another one.
Yeah, you're right. It was Chris Rock.
Yeah.
On March 4,
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting about the history of entertainment is you can always see where entertainment is going if you look at porn and comedy. Those are the two things that always innovate first because those are the two cheapest things to create, right? You can see this in comedians did stand-up comedy records really early. Comedians did tapes really early. Comedians did CDs really early. Comedians were the first people to do mailing lists. Comedians were the first people to post their stuff online. Comedians were the first people to post footage of their shows online and then crowd work clips on TikTok, and now everyone's doing that. Even musicians are posting crowd work clips. Like if you watch Sabrina Carpenter, she's one of the biggest female artists in the world. She has scripted parts of her show where she goes to the crowd and picks out someone hot and flirts with them and puts them on the big screen. And that she's doing because she knows that there's 30,000 people in the arena, 3,000 of them are filming and they're going to post it on TikTok, it'll go viral. When I was at Coldplay, you know what they did? I was watching this going, holy shit, fucking Matt Rife did this. Coldplay, Chris Martin's up there, it's the end of the show, they put a camera on someone wearing something weird, Chris Martin's playing the guitar, improvises a song about your beard and looking weird and blah, blah, blah. Does it with 3 people. I'm watching a crowd work clip. That's comedians that did that first. And comedians were the first ones to do ticketed live streams too. That all happened during just before COVID, but really picked up during COVID because there were only some people that could do live shows in some states and countries. So they were doing ticketed live streams. And now fucking podcasts like Your Mum's House do ticketed live stream specials that are not even live comedy. It's like SNL almost, of like a live sketch show. And now you're seeing Netflix picking up live events and live comedy specials and things like that. Kill Tony is a great example of this. Every week or however often they do it, I don't even know, but they're live on YouTube. That whole property could be sold to a streaming service. All right, but why would you, I don't know if you would even want to sell it. Maybe you would sell one, but not like every week. But they could. You could probably sell Kill Tony for fucking millions and millions and millions of dollars for like a year. Every Saturday we'll go live on HBO or Netflix or whatever. And the next thing will be putting VR cameras in events. You know why? Because they put VR cameras in porn. It goes porn, comedy, everyone else. 100%. Porn, comedy, everyone else. That's how it goes. There's a reason why every comedian is always getting porn stars on their podcast. Me included. Because porn, comedy, everyone else. We're watching the porn stars and we're stealing their ideas. Minus the dicks. So yeah, good fun fight. I hope it doesn't rattle Tyson's brain too much. And it'll be interesting to see what Jake Paul does next. If I'm Jake, I'm retiring. What else are you doing? I just got $40 million to punch an old man in the head and get hit once. Why would I fight anyone else? 40 million? You're not that good when it comes to pro boxers. He's only ever fought one guy under 35 that was actually, and that guy beat him. And he was the only current pro boxer, and that guy beat him. I'm not fighting anyone else. I just beat Mike Tyson. Stop. If he doesn't stop, he's silly. It's time to fucking launch a company or something like that. A new one, because no one's buying Jake Paul deodorant. You know? No one's buying Jake Paul's W deodorant. I don't want to smell like Jake Paul. All right? What he needs to do is he needs to quit and start a likable arc. Honestly, we all know, very impossible for Jake Paul to be likable, but that would be the move.
Logan Paul did it. Then he fumbled it.
That's true, yeah. Logan Paul is really good at putting the good guy mask on. But every now and then, it slips. I'm robbing people. I'm a dead body. I've killed 16 of my pets. Actually, maybe the only thing left is the Logan and Jake fight. That's probably that's the last
The
one.
Jake and KSI fight.
Yeah.
They're still building on that, I think.
Well, KSI's kind of tweeted about, I'm ready to do boxing next. Could you imagine how funny it would be if Jake lost that one? He won't. But how funny it would be? I guess that is ultimately the question of like, pretty much anyone who gets in the ring with Jake is going to lose unless they're a boxer. Like, he's at that level where he is very good for an amateur boxer, and that guy can beat fucking everyone in boxing except for pros. That's where Jake's at. So if you're getting in the ring with him, you know you're losing. So you need a big payday. But like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, if that happened, or KSI or whatever, that's not going to be bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. I was walking around the city, and you saw this too, Keelan. I'm sure the whole world saw this. When I left the thing after the fight, I'm walking around the city. Everyone in Melbourne is talking about the fight. I've never in my life seen anything like that in my country. Like, even the election doesn't pull that. Like, maybe Trump getting the assassination attempt, that was the last time everyone around me was going, talking about the same thing. I was walking around the city. I walked past a bouncer. A 55-year-old woman goes to the bouncer, who won the fight? Who won the fight? And I went, Jake Paul. And she went, oh, fuck off. Sweet 55-year-old woman. There's no way that woman cares about KSI and Logan Paul or Jake Paul fighting. Like that, like, sure, you could do another influence one, but it's never going to be bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. Because there's no Mike Tyson. Who's another legendary boxer that you could fight? That's it. You've done it. Stop. Anyway. About this influencer event I went to. I went to the F-Boy Island thing. Dude, being a reality TV star, I went because I actually quite liked everyone I did the show with, which is really weird for these shows. There was a guy from season 1 there. His name's Darcy. He was from season 1 of F-Boy Island, and he goes to me, like we're all leaving the event, and we're all in each other's cars. Oh, I'm going to go in your car. We're going to go there. We're going to do this. We're all like hanging out, having fun. He was the only one from season 1 there, and he just goes to me, I can't believe you guys get along. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, we did not get along in the house. And I think that's why season 1 was much better, because all the boys fucking didn't like each other. All of us, we're still in a group chat. We all hang out and talk. I message people, respond to stories, like photos. We all got a good relationship, even with the girls. I haven't spoken to either of the girls since the show ended, since we got our social media accounts back. I get there, fucking everyone's stoked to see me, big hugs, we're all hanging out. One of the girls, Nicole, is there with her boyfriend now, Jack. They're both excited to see me. She fucking eliminated me. I'm stoked to see her. It was great. I never thought I would do a reality show and leave with friends. I think that might have been an error on whoever cast everyone. It's like, fuck, you guys are supposed to hate each other so we can film you fighting. And we're just like, yeah, Boy Island, we're being silly. But anyway, I've got a video coming out about it soon. I know I haven't spoken about it much at all because I'm saving it for the video, but I am working on it. It'll be out in the next few weeks, hopefully. I really want it out this year. But it is a big one. It is very funny what I've done. And all will be revealed. I've been pretty tight-lipped about it. But anyway, all of this to say, I go to this event because I didn't know about it, but a bunch of them, mainly the girls, there was some nightclub or something that had like a ticketed event, and they had heaps of people from F-Boy, heaps of people from like Love Island, Australia, and then there's another show called Aussie Shore, which is like Geordie Shore but Australians, right? And they had heaps of talent just on this poster, and tickets were $50 to go to a nightclub and like be in the presence of dozens of reality TV stars. And look, I love all the people I did the show with. Why the fuck would anyone want to go to that? Why the fuck would you want to do that? They had a thing on beforehand. I went to that, and then they're all going to the thing after. And I was like, no, don't want to go to that. Fuck that. Could you imagine being like, oh, let's go to a bar where some reality TV people who were on a show I used to watch 6 months ago will be sequestered off in a VIP area away from me. $50, $30 cocktails, I bet.
It's not even like they're famous. Big Brother.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
They were famous.
Well, yeah. Like that's like I did F-Boy and I lost followers on Instagram. Isn't that crazy?
I've said this to you before, but my friend Louis, who came second on Big Brother last year,
he
told me it was the worst decision of his life. He said he lost something like 20,000 followers.
Wow. Yeah, because at least my fans, they know what I'm doing, you know? So they were like, all right, we'll put up with these shitty fucking posts that are done by F-Boy because we know Lewis has something up his sleeve. Right? And I appreciate your trust. Most people do not have that fucking trust. Like looking at even the winners of F-Boy, the girls and the guys, they kind of didn't move at all in followers. Like reality TV does not have the pull that it used to. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how this series rated or whatever. I don't know if it did well or poorly because it's a streaming service. So I imagine maybe only the producers would know. But yeah, I don't know. Just being able to, like, especially if you win the thing. Like, I didn't win. I made it halfway through. But that's still a significant amount of screen time and social media presence and shit. But, like, the winners, fuck, dude. Coming out of a reality TV show and kind of living exactly the same life beforehand is, like, why did I do that? Like, I was talking to Krista. I'm like, would you have, because she did it one other reality show. Maybe. I think so. No, she did Bachelorette or something like that. I can't remember. She's done one other one, which really goes to prove my point. I don't know what the fucking show she was on. These girls are lovely, by the way. I love them. But I'm like, would you do another one? She's like, fuck no, absolutely not. You know, she's done two, and she's like, I'm not doing another one.
So funny.
But yeah, it is such a weird thing that we all did. And especially like being back together with none of the cameras was so weird because you really get to see who these people actually are. Because it's such a controlled environment that when you're filming these shows. So there was a moment where I'm on this rooftop with Crystal the other night, and I'm catching up with her. I'm like, oh, what are you up to? And she goes, oh, come over here. I'll tell you about it. She pulls me away from the group, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like I'm on a mixer, like a date, like those fucking seasons. You'd have to position yourself. You'd be like, come over here and talk to me, and you have to stand at a table and kind of be aware of where the cameras are, so that she's not blocking your view of your camera, and you know, just all this shit that like reality TV is not very real at all. But it was fun, and the video I make about it will be very funny. You know what I'm about. Anyway, before I ruin my plans, I am loving Elon Musk and Donald Trump right now. They're so funny, dude. I can't get enough of how obviously annoyed by Elon Donald Trump is. And how ever since Trump won, I don't think I have seen a single photo, video, or heard a story about Trump where Elon wasn't uncomfortably close to him, just orbiting the president. That is so fucking funny because Elon does not have an official position in the administration, and he's also not even an American citizen.
He does have an official position.
I don't think that's government. I think the Doge thing is a separate third-party independent thing. It's not an official position in the government, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have a look.
I might be wrong. You can fact check me in the comments and Keelan can have a look at it. But I think it's like just a thing that they've invented and the government's going to allow them to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're not like... So he's not part of the administration. He's not a government employee. He's not even an American citizen. He's the world's richest man following the president around like a fucking shadow. And people are like, yeah, Trump's going to get rid of the elites that are controlling our government. It's like, brother, we have a fucking foreign billionaire following the president around who clearly doesn't want to be around him. It's so funny. They are going to have the messiest breakup. I'm telling you right now, February 2025, Trump and Elon Musk are going to have a rift that makes headlines for months. Timestamp it. Come back here in February. I fucking promise you, they're going to have a giant public blow up in February of next year. There's this, have you seen the clip of Trump and Elon at the UFC? It is so funny. So it's must be in between fights or something. You know when you have a group of friends and like someone brings their mate that no one likes, and he doesn't realize that no one likes him, but he's just there and he's having a great time, but all of you just find him insufferable. That's Elon around Trump, right? And you can just tell by the body language. They're sitting at the UFC, and Trump is like got his back to Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is like fully lent in, but looking at his phone, looking at memes. And he does this exaggerated laugh down at his phone. Like laughs and goes, ha ha ha, shakes his head, looks at Trump, who doesn't react, laughs more, looks at him again. Trump does not react. And then Elon kind of laughs at his phone. Like you can just tell that he's going, oh, ha ha. Oh, like he really wants Trump to be like, what are you laughing at there, buddy? Show me. And you know it would be the most unfunny, boring meme you've ever fucking seen. Like the only other time I can remember seeing Elon Musk laugh at a meme was when he did meme review with PewDiePie, and it was just a picture of a deer that had drowned in a pool. And he wasn't laughing at the caption, he was just laughing at an image of an animal that had drowned. And that's what he found funny about it. It's like, this thing has died. Right? So Elon's pissing himself at some terrible meme on Twitter, currently known as X. Trump ignores him, and then eventually when it comes to the point where he can't really ignore him anymore, he just points at the fight, and then Elon puts his phone away. He's like, I don't want to look at your fucking memes, bro. It's so good. Elon's on the plane with him. Elon's walking with him everywhere. Elon's at meetings. I've seen news articles of journalists being like, even other journalists, like pro-Trump journalists, are like, this is weird that he's always around. This is very strange. Like, doesn't this guy have 16,000 businesses to run and 17,000 children to raise? He's just following. The only thing I see this man do is following Trump and then sometimes playing Diablo. I saw this one thing where there was like a news article of talking about how close and how often Elon is with Trump, right? Who looks miserable to be anywhere near him. And then Elon responds to this going, I'm happy to be the first ever first buddy of the president. Oh, go home. Overstayed your welcome. The first buddy? Brother. Be the first billionaire to look after his kids. That's so great. And by the way, I'm not one of those people that thinks that Elon Musk is some fucking idiot. He's undeniably brilliant. You don't get to where you are and pull off all these things without being fucking brilliant. But that comes at the expense of being absolutely fucking deranged and insane and retarded in many other areas of the human experience, like being able to tell when someone doesn't want you in the room. You know? I can't send a rocket to Mars, but I know when I'm being annoying. And that's a trade-off that I'm willing to accept, is that unfortunately I'll never be a billionaire, but if I'm in a room pissing off everyone because I'm annoying and I don't know when to leave and go home, I can pick up on those signals. I'm really funny. I think I'm really good at what I do. I think I'm a great stand-up comedian. I love making YouTube videos. If you put me in an office, I'll do a terrible job and everyone won't like me. These are trade-offs. You know? It's like in Fallout when you put all of your points into intelligence and none into charisma. That's Elon Musk. I can't wait. February 2025, they're going to have the most dramatic breakup ever. I'm surprised that they ever got back together. Can you pull up that tweet, that truth post that Donald Trump put up about Elon Musk? About his cars not working? I would never, ever be able to help a man who wrote this about me. Like this is why Elon Musk is a brilliant businessman, because he can put aside things like this that I would not be able to. Have you got it, Keelan? I'll pull it up. Like the ability to put aside your own ego.
Is it this one? When Elon Musk came to the White House asking me to help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, which without subsidies, he'd be worthless, and telling me he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have. Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I couldn't help that man do anything. If that man was on fire, I would not be able to piss on him. If anyone wrote that about me, I would not be able to help them do anything. And that's why Elon's a better businessman than I am. Because he can read that about him and go, I want to go to Mars. I'm going to help him. That's so funny. I could tell him to drop to his knees and beg, and he would. And you know what? He would. And that's why Elon's going to Mars and I'm not. Good on him. I can't wait for the giant public blow up. That'd be really cool, actually, to like next election cycle to see Elon Musk go back to being like the more like Reddit lefty guy that he was. Remember Reddit Elon, when Reddit loved Elon and Elon loved Reddit? And he would post regularly on Twitter, currently known as X, about gay rights and environmentalism and this and that. Reddit loved him. He was the meme lord. He was the one cool fun billionaire. I want him to go back to that and fight against Trump. And then when he helps Bernie Sanders win next time, be Bernie Sanders' brain in a jar because he's too old. Then I would like to see, when Bernie Sanders win, Elon Musk to lead like an insurrectionist movement and go full right wing again. That'd be great. Just purely for my entertainment. Anyway, guys. How good is having well-manicured pubes? Isn't that good? Isn't that nice? No, thank you. I've seen them enough over this week. We've been spending a few days together. Manscaped.com. Use code 20spears for 20% off and free shipping. Your Manscaped products. The best ball bag trimmer in the game. The best beard trimmer ever. Look at this. You know, I got a bunch of comments on my latest video about my mustache. That's all Manscaped, baby. Use code 20spears. 20% off, free shipping. Great Christmas present for a boyfriend who's got stinky, unwashed pubes, that'd be great. Help him trim up. It's even a good present for dad. Now, because, well, they do beard trimmers now, is what I was going to say. I wouldn't say don't buy a ball bag trimmer for your dad, because obviously Manscaped is the sponsor of the show. If you want to do that, you should. But I would lightly suggest that a better present would be the beard trimmer for dad. Nose hair trimmer as well. If your dad's Greek, go for it.
What about their moisturizers for your penis?
Yes, they do have, they call it something. They've got ball bag moisturizers. And that, look, sounds ridiculous. You put it on your nuts, you'll see the truth.
There's the crop cleanser, the crop gel, the crop exfoliator, the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner for balls, and there's the crop soother and the crop preserver.
Now, there's nothing I love more than having my nuts soothed. And I've said this many times on the show, and I'll say it again, is I love to have my balls soothed. There's nothing I love more than after a hard day of work is just taking the necklace off, putting the headphones down, jumping in the shower, and soothing my own nuts with manscaped.com and the code 20spears for 20% off and free shipping all of your scrotum soothing products.
And how good's their underwear?
Very good, actually.
And if you Black Friday 25% off sale.
Wow. I mean, it just gets better, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It just gets better, folks. Manscaped.com, use code 20spears for 20% off and free shipping.
No, over Black Friday, it's more than 20% off.
What? That's crazy. Are you telling me they've sent me an email that I haven't read?
I'm not reading the email. I'm just on the website.
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, next episode, I'm going to have a peruse of whatever new script they've given me, because that might be a little bit out of date. And that's why you need to use my code 20spears to keep the reads entertaining, because this is not really how you're supposed to do them. Manscaped.com. Anyway, so how long will we be going here? Okay. I've been waiting to talk about this for ages, all right? So, local elections happened recently in Frankston, right? Now, that doesn't sound very exciting, but let me tell you, there's been a lot of political intrigue and political espionage and drama in the Frankston local electorate recently. And I got a leaflet. Did you get this leaflet? You probably didn't because you were away.
Yeah.
All right. I got this leaflet in the mail about electing council members, the 2024 council election. And bro, it is one of the funniest things I've ever read. There are only 4 people up for election. I believe only 3 people can win. And they're all fighting with each other. And in this pamphlet that we get one paragraph from each person telling us why we should vote for them. And they're all beefing with each other in their own paragraphs. It's awesome. And these people are all currently council members. So they're all in the office right now fucking hating each other, hoping that only some of them get re-elected, okay? So my favorite one is this guy called Adam Marshall. Now, wait. No, that's not my favorite one. Adam Marshall, though. No, he is my second favorite. Adam Marshall. You may remember this guy as the dude that was on A Current Affair because Frankston Council tried to fine him for filling in holes.
Good on him.
And so there was a giant hole that was there for months in the Frankston electorate, and he just is a landscaper, so he had a bunch of dirt and he just filled it in, made it safe, and then the council tried to fine him for it. And then that set him off, and now he's a council member. And so that guy that they tried to fine, he's like, fuck you guys, watch this. And now he's in the office, hating them, all right? I'm a new politically independent candidate. I recently appeared on A Current Affair for cleaning up Frankston. And you can tell when he wrote that bit, he's looking left and right at the other 2 paragraphs next to him, the other 2 candidates. Together, let us start conversations, create action to build a thriving community for the benefit of all Frankston residents. I put him as number 2.
Sounds like AI.
Because we've got preferential voting. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put him as number 2. All right. Very strong pitch. He's obviously a guy. He's not really like a politician. He really cares about Frankston, and he's proven that with his actions and standing up against injustice. So you would think that would get you a 1 from me, but no, that gets you a 2, right? Now, the other 2 people are just regular, boring council members, all right? We've got this woman, Christy, seems like a bit of a Karen. She goes, look around our area and you will see for yourself the great improvements that are happening. It's fantastic to see our community finally getting its fair share of funding and starting to shake its unfair reputation, which is that Frankston is the meth capital of Melbourne.
And not wrong, and she's wrong because I saw someone shit at Frankston Shopping Centre the other day.
Yeah, I would say that we absolutely deserve that that reputation, and not only do we deserve it, we earn it every day.
And it's going backwards. Frankston's getting worse.
Yes, I would also agree there, Christy, that we really do deserve our reputation, 100%. Okay, I saw a bunch of people fighting with police officers 2 p.m. on a Tuesday the other day at the train station. So I think that we definitely deserve that. And she says that we should vote 1 Christy for her and 2 Chris, right? So these 2 are working together. So we've got Chris and Christy working together. These are the 2 like more politician council members. Now let's have a look at Chris. I put Christy as number 3. And this is Chris who got a 4, right? Because I believe in equality and equal opportunity for women, so I gave her a 3, and Chris here earned a 4 from me. Retirees, families, and people on single incomes are struggling in uncertain times. That's why we need a representative who gets things done. I'm a pre-service secondary teacher, and I've been a justice of the peace since 2008. Blah blah blah. I've been a politician before, and he says you should vote 1 me and 2 Christy. I gave him a 4. Now, and I gave the guy who filled in holes and got on a current affair a 2, because I think that's funny, and he obviously has a lot of disdain for Chris and Christy on the Frankston Council. Now, would you like to know who got my number 1? It is this man, Stephen Hughes. Now, this is his pitch. Now, don't interrupt me. This is very important. This is his pitch. This is on the leaflet for every single person up for election in Frankston Council. This is his argument as to why he should win as the council, and this is why he got my vote. Frankston is the best of cities, yet the worst of councils. Frankston's rates are double that of Toorak, yet we receive inferior services. Endless overdevelopment has created unbearable congestion. Our roads have potholes. Graffiti is everywhere. Frankston's CBD looks like Baghdad.
What the fuck?
I was elected to council in 2020. As an accountant, I aim to reduce costs for struggling residents. I brought multiple rate reduction motions, voted against every rate rise and councillor pay increase, called out wasteful spending, and spent none of your rates on myself. For these reasons, I was attacked continually by other council members. I am therefore not seeking re-election. I cannot be part of an organisation that is unashamedly self-serving and indifferent to the Frankston community. Please do not vote for me. I simply ask residents to elect a new councillor group this election. The current council increased your rates every year, made it harder for residents to oppose overdevelopment, cut funding to key community groups while taking pay rises, and spent your rates unnecessarily on personal expenses. They have no vision for a better Frankston. Please choose a new candidate this election and vote high rates, overdevelopment, and poor service last. Better the devil you don't know. And then he included his mobile phone number at the end.
You want to call it?
No.
Let's call it.
No, we can't call it. None of the other people have their mobile numbers. So he just said, don't vote for me, but for the love of God, don't fucking vote for any of these losers that are currently voted in. Unfortunately for Stephen, no one else ran for council, so all the people that he's complaining about have won. And the only person I think that is not a council member is now him. The other 3 are all council members. Because I think you get 3 in our area, but only 4 ran, and the only guy who isn't currently a council member said, don't vote for me, so he didn't win.
I love that. That's so good.
So I put him as number 1. So he got my vote. But he didn't win. So the current affair guy. So essentially this was an absolutely fucking pointless brochure to receive in the mail because one guy didn't want to run and only 3 people can win. So all 3 that were running won. Like you could have put the resurrected fucking body and brain of Hitler on this thing and he would have got in because no one else ran. I want to frame that. Frankstons CBD looks like Baghdad. That's so fucking funny. And Councilman Stephen Hughes, why should we vote for you? You shouldn't. Frankston looks like Baghdad. I'm out of here. I love Frankston so much. And you know what, Keelan? That's why we deserve our reputation. Because even our councilmen fight with each other in public. That's like at the end of the day, the reason why Frankston has the reputation that it has is because everyone is fighting in front of everyone else. Even our own fucking councilmen are having fights with us in pamphlets. That's why this guy should be the mayor of Frankston. That's the most crackhead behavior I've ever seen. He's gone, don't vote for me. I don't want to do the fucking job. Frankston looks like Baghdad. Also, here's my number if you want to chat. Why did he put his mobile number in it? It doesn't say call me. It just goes, don't vote for me. And all these other people are corrupt. 0402. Really good stuff. I love Frankston so much. That's good. We'll put that bit up here as the part of the set. Stephen Hughes' anti-councilman rant goes right up there.
Good on him.
Yeah. Fighting for what? I don't know. But at least he's fighting. That's the Frankston way. I've got a little update about the Diddy thing. It's not enough to make a video on, but I talk about it on the podcast. So Diddy's in prison right now. He's not been found guilty yet, but he's being held without on bail. He's trying to get out on bail, rather. So it turns out, prisoners, they get one phone call a week in there. Diddy allegedly has been stealing other prisoners' phone calls to contact alleged victims to intimidate them. So Diddy has done they're alleging he's done 7 phone calls or something to his son and then to a bunch of people that are going to speak in the trial against him. And the court is going, hey, this guy's trying to intimidate witnesses from prison. And then that's the charge. So they want to take away his ability to do these phone calls and to take away his ability to get bail because they're like, if he's doing this shit in prison, if we let him out, it's going to be so much worse in terms of intimidating witnesses and it'll poison the case. His lawyer has come out and he said, you listening to his phone calls is a violation of his right to privacy. Hasn't come out and gone, no, he's not intimidating the witnesses. He's just going, hey, that's cheating. You don't listen to the phone calls of my client intimidating witnesses. That's not allowed. He has the worst lawyer of all time. He didn't say, that's not true. He said, you're not allowed to say that. That's technically a violation of my right. And what's really funny is that it's not a violation of his rights because in prison they don't get that privacy right. So the lawyer doesn't really know what he's talking about. Diddy is so fucked. That's why he's intimidating witnesses because that's his only chance. If I had a look at how my lawyer responded to me being caught with thousands of bottles of baby oil, I would be like, yeah, I need to start doing some threatening phone calls. That's the only way I'm getting out of this. Frankston CBD looks like Baghdad.
The Diddy stuff is just boring, I think, because it's like he's a pedophile.
Yeah, he just did it.
Let him rot.
Yeah.
Or kill him.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, in Minecraft.
In Minecraft, allegedly.
Yeah. That's all hearsay. But I do, but many people are saying that I agree with it. I wouldn't say that, but a lot of people are saying that.
Either, but I was watching a short film on Minecraft the other day about it.
Yeah.
But also, who would, all I'm thinking about is who would take that case. It'd have to be some guy straight out of law school.
Yes. It's just a guy. You know who takes that case? You know what this is for if you're a lawyer? This is Mike Tyson taking the fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm at the end of my career. I've had a legendary run. I've won most of my fights. This one is going to ruin my reputation. It's going to mean that I'll never really be able to do this shit again. But I'm retiring soon anyway. In fact, I've basically already retired. I don't care about my legacy. I'm going to die anyway. We're all going to die. I'm at peace with that. I'm going to take the $20 million and set my kids up. That's what this case for the lawyer is. It's the Jake Paul fight. So Mike Tyson getting punched in the head by some 28-year-old fucking YouTuber and wobbling and everyone watching it going, oh no, Mike, this is sad. That's this lawyer being like, anyone could have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Americans love to buy in bulk. You know, like some mafia boss who got away with trafficking heroin into the country because of that lawyer who's watching it going like, dude, what happened to Alan? He used to be such a good lawyer. What the fuck? I used to love this guy. He used to be good at his job. What have they done to my boy? That's what this case is. Anyway, if you want to send an email to the show, if you need some life advice, if you have a funny story for me, shoot an email to podcast@loosespears.com. Podcast@loosespears.com. Send it through. We've got this. lewspears.com. I am falling for one of my boyfriend's close friends. Great subject line. I've not read this one yet. Let's get into it. Dear Lewis, I've been a long-time listener and fan of the show, never had anything to contribute until now. I'm really ashamed of this, and I've been trying to make sense of it without much luck. So here I am writing an email to you. I hope you have some insight to offer to this situation. As the title suggests, I am falling for one of my boyfriend's close friends.
Boo.
The context is, I met my boyfriend Bob at the college flat we both live in. I first met and became friends with another flatmate, Alex, who is the center of the larger friend group that includes Bob and the friend I ended up falling for, John. Fuck, already I'm confused. Bob and I, this reads like a bad romance novel. Bob and I, and turns out John's a mysterious billionaire. Bob and I started dating a year and a half ago, and it's been very nice. He's everything I believe I should look for in a partner. Oh, you don't like him. Everything I believe I should look for? I'm sorry. I don't know anything about this story, but just from that one sentence, I know you don't like him. He's everything I wish I liked. That's what you just said. This man is everything that I probably should enjoy about being in a relationship. I mean, I shouldn't have said her name.
Oh, come on.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I said her name. Sarah. I can tell just from that one sentence that you don't like this guy at all. And this is irrespective of... That's like me when I go to a nice restaurant and I don't like the food. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure he's a good cook, but I don't like it. I'm sure most people would like this, but it's just not for me. Dude, if my partner of a year and a half described our relationship as very nice and I feel like I should want it. Oh, how's your boyfriend going? Yeah, he's nice and I feel like I should love him. Bob and I started dating a year and a half ago, and it's been very nice. He is everything I believe I should look for in a partner. I have a lot of fun with him, and I would describe him as sweet, caring, and nice. It sounds like a great friend. I met and spent a good amount of time with his family, who are also very welcoming and kind. I really value that. Since I come from a lot of abuse back home, which ultimately led... What's funny about that?
I'm not laughing.
Is that funny?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No,
see,
it's
this is what Keelan thinks is funny.
It's not funny.
Really? So what was funny? What were you laughing at?
Of course.
Were you looking at a meme?
No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the story. It's not funny. She got abused.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very funny that of course.
Yes, that does. Yeah. This is a classic thing with people who come from bad families. They meet someone nice and it feels wrong because you're not. This is like a trauma response. You're actually not used to someone treating you well. So something about it feels wrong. And that is an indicator that it's not wrong. It's that you need to do a lot of work on yourself to understand that actually you do deserve to be treated well. And that's something that you need to be able to accept, appreciate, and really genuinely enjoy. And if you can't do that, it probably means you need to do that work before you start trying with the relationship.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say with my laugh.
After she said there's a lot of abuse back home.
Yeah.
So see, this is why Keelan would make a great therapist. Is you would go in and you'd be like, oh, you know, I just feel so bad because my dad used to hit me, and he would go, and what I mean by that is that was unfair. That'll be $200 an hour. Thank you.
It's just a lot of the stories you get, a lot of the emails you get, they're very predictable in the way
they follow a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, they follow a pattern is exactly it. And it's always awful.
Yeah. And it's always funny, is what you're trying to say. Yeah. This is Keelan at a comedy show. The comedian tells a joke and he goes, "You didn't deserve to be treated like that." and by that I mean okay. He's everything I believe I should look for in a partner. I have a lot of fun with him, and I would describe him as sweet, caring, and nice. I've met and spent a good amount of time with his family, who are also very welcoming and kind. I really value that since I come from a lot of abuse back home. Which ultimately led me to immigrating and slowly cutting off all contact with them. Great job. Love that. He feels safe. He compromises with me on so much, and I know deeply that he tries really hard for me. I add this last bit because we've hit some roadblocks as expected. I'm very affectionate physically, probably too much, whereas he is autistic and gets very overstimulated by touch. And by that, Keelan means that must be hard for you. This has led to a central conflict in the relationship. Every time he rejects me physically, either verbally or by his physical reaction, I begin feeling unlovable, undesirable, and become resentful. We have tried.
That's not funny. I'm not laughing at that.
Okay, well, what are you laughing at? That's interesting. Would you like to share with the class? This isn't a very good ad for like getting other people to send in their stories. It's like, if you need some life advice, send an email to me and I'll give you some earnest advice while Keelan will laugh at your pain.
I've already said it, but all these emails are always the same. Yeah. It's always really awful in one way of the, she's like probably about to cheat or is already cheating. Yeah. And also it sucks that he's not affectionate physically.
Yeah. It's really hard to love my retarded boyfriend. That's how you could sum this up in a sentence.
I think that's also what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very good at explaining my laughs. Yeah.
Every time he rejects me physically, either verbally or by his physical reaction, get off me, I'm playing Minecraft, I begin feeling unlovable, undesirable, and become resentful. I should cheat on him. We have tried very hard to compromise on this issue. Him by stretching his boundaries. Fine, we can have sex, but only if I'm watching my favorite Batman DVD. And me by trying to ask less or be satisfied with what I get. Fine, we can have sex, but I don't need to come. Sometimes, though, I feel like we're both compromising to a point where neither party is really satisfied. I will ask for more, he'll give it to me, and I'll feel guilty and burdensome because I know he doesn't really want to touch me at that moment. At some point, John entered the picture. I have known him since I started dating Bob, and I had always taken notice of him, but never found myself attracted to him until this summer, when he asked me to collaborate on an art project with him. This is very romance novel. Something shifted. I felt seen in a way I've only felt a few times before in my life. This is the central aspect behind why I am falling for John. Other similar moments have fed the attraction, him complimenting me on my taste in music, or taking notice of my fashion or my craft and creative work. Bob doesn't take interest in my art or art in general. Since that moment, John has begun displaying interest in me more openly. I'm 90% sure he's flirting with me, and certain looks have passed between us that make me feel both intense excitement and liveliness and shame and guilt. Through subtle comments, he will put Bob down and will make me question why I like him. For example, he will comment on Bob smoking cigarettes, not working out, generally not taking good care of himself. It sounds like you don't like Bob very much, but he hasn't done anything explicitly wrong to you. I think that this, there's still more email, but I think this, without reading the rest of it, this is like, again, like trauma response of like when you grow up in a bad household, when you're used to being treated poorly, one, you feel weird being treated well, and two, you also tolerate a lot of stuff that a normal person would not, because it's not as bad as what you're used to. So you feel weird getting treated well, but you don't recognize when you're getting treated normal person poorly. Do you know what I mean? We're like, oh, well, you know, he doesn't want to touch me. He doesn't want to hang out with me. He doesn't fulfill my needs, but he doesn't hit me, so he's a really good boyfriend. Not abusing you does not a good boyfriend make. There was a moment in the summer where after an afternoon spent hanging out with the group of Alex, John, and another friend, Bob was working. John asked me, "Why do you want to fuck me all of a sudden?" I froze and didn't say anything. I just left shortly after and did not see John for a while. The few times I have seen him after, he has flirted with me awkwardly and put Bob down in similar comments as I mentioned before. Yeah, I don't like this other guy either. I feel undeniably attracted to John and incredibly guilty for it. I feel selfish for even having this attraction for the fantasies. I feel like just through this, I am hurting Bob. Getting with John feels impossible because of the social network weaved around us. Bob would be devastated. The friend group would fall apart or suffer immense damage. I'd probably be shunned, seeing as I was the outsider who joined, and ultimately I would probably be seen as the bad guy within all this. Right now, I'm mostly trying to ignore my feelings. I don't want to hurt Bob, but I'm not sure if the feelings will go away, especially because I suspect John reciprocates at least to some extent. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Any advice is welcome. Thanks, Lewis. Love your work. Your approach to life, especially during and after your illness, has been quite inspiring to me. Keelan, if possible, please do not laugh at this email. It would really hurt my feelings. I look up to you quite a bit. Crazy how she wrote that in the email, and she knew that if you did laugh, it would really hurt her feelings. That's crazy. P.S. If Keelan does laugh, the repercussions will be severe. Thanks, Sarah. That's an interesting threat that she's written there. Yeah. So I think that there are two parts to this. The first part is your relationship with your boyfriend right now. The second part is this other person. So you're not I don't think you're a bad person, but you could decide to do a really bad thing. Like you have the option to do something really fucking bad that's going to hurt a lot of people, probably ruin the friendship group. I think that this guy is a fucking horrible friend to your partner because, okay, sure, you're having feelings. He's outright going out there and saying it and talking his friend down when he's not there. That's really gross, and he's a shit mate. I think that you don't like your boyfriend, and that's okay. And I think that probably the best option for you is to really have a think about, like, outside of this other person that you're having a growing attraction to, are you having a good relationship with your partner, or are you just not having an abusive relationship? Like, you should really think about that and really take stock of your actual relationship and the last however many months or years or whatever you've been with this guy, and be like, is this good, or is this just not terrible, and because of what I've been through, it appears to be good? Because it sounds like you're very young, and if you're in a relationship that's like really not serving you and also isn't compatible with the type of person that this guy is, you need a lot of touch, that overwhelms him, you know, maybe you guys aren't compatible, There are plenty of relationships that are not bad, but they're just not compatible. Where you're just like roommates that tolerate each other and watch the same show on Netflix. You know? That's the first thing that I would look at. The second thing I would look at is it sounds inevitable that either you leave this relationship entirely and the friendship group, right? And that'll cause that'll cause, you know, a little bit of heartbreak for Bob, but he'll find someone who's better suited to him and so will you, and no one fucking gets really hurt. Or you stay in the relationship and eventually, because here's the thing, either you cheat on your boyfriend and fucking really hurt him and blow up the friendship, or you stay in the relationship and you have to like have an actual discussion with your boyfriend about what his friend is doing, which is relentlessly hitting on you and saying things that are very inappropriate and talking down to him. Like those are like, if you want to make the right decision, those are your two options: is leave the relationship and this friendship, or blow up the friendship and stay in the relationship and try your best. You can't stay without, because otherwise you're just going to stay and let this guy flirt with you and you're going to tolerate it and probably flirt back, and now you're just at best emotionally cheating on your partner. At worst, it'll go further. Or you have to tell him that what's going on with the friend and work through that. Because, so I think it sounds like you don't like your partner and you guys don't have a good relationship. You're just struggling to see that because you're used to a lot worse, which is fine. And that's something that you'll have to work on a lot. And that's a really, really normal thing to, after horrible relationships, to not be able to identify good ones or even average ones and feeling uncomfortable with good ones. But that's all part of your growth and your learning process as you become older and wiser and go through life. So that's my advice is it sounds like you don't want to be with your partner and it's like this new person is kind of like making that more and more obvious to you. Like if it's not this guy, it'll be someone else. You know, if this guy leaves your life, it'll be somebody else. And I think that's a big indicator that the relationship you're in right now is not right for you. That's my advice. Good luck. Give me an update on how it goes. If you do choose to stay in the relationship, you're probably going to have to tell your boyfriend about his friend's behavior, because I knew if one of my friends was doing that with someone I cared about, I would need to know. All right, that's it. We're going to continue on Patreon right now. It's up. Check the description in the comments. I'm Lewis Spears. I hope you have a shit one. Bye.